I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. And Jim, are you out there, Jim Weary?
I am here, yes.
Okay, just checking.
Thank you.
We have an agenda in front of us. Do we have any additions or what do you think of that agenda? Any corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Art made a motion.
I'll second.
Todd has seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion to approve. Approve the minutes of the February 9th meeting. Hopefully everybody has looked them over. Are there any additions or corrections to the February 9th meeting minutes? If none, we have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Todd.
I'll second that.
Mike has seconded it. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Everybody said aye, so we don't have to find out for a nay. County Attorney General discussion. Mark, are you out there?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Good morning. You sound in a good mood today.
I don't know. I'm always doing good.
All righty. Do you have anything special for us today?
The only thing I have is on item number, looking for it, the Watershed, item number 8.
Yes.
I spoke with Cody Smith yesterday, and we talked about it, and I invited him to be on today. I see there's a guest. Is that you, Cody? Doesn't look like it is. But basically, what I talked to him about that is, if he could give you a lot better explanation, that's why I was hoping to keep you on the line. If you join this, the board would, our board, supervisor board, would have one member on this board. There's no fee to attend. In other words, there's no charge to the county. They work solely on grants. And what their goal is to meet with farmers, meet with members of the community, to try to find ways to, for lack of a better word, clean up the watershed so there's not so much silt, things like that. I told him what it boils down to is, as far as I was concerned, if there was one supervisor who felt strongly about, yeah, they thought it was a good idea, they'd be willing to do it, we'd probably join. If there wasn't a supervisor who felt strongly about it, wanted to attend the meeting, said we probably would. So I know that's item number 8, but I'm just giving you my thoughts after speaking with him yesterday. Other than the time involved, there's really not a whole lot of downside to it. It's just whether one supervisor says, yeah, I'd like to do that. But nobody really is too excited about it, then I'd say you don't want to join. So that's all I have for today.
Okay, well, that's exactly what I was wanting, was your remarks on this. As long as I've got you on here, I guess the reason what I was questioning about is the fact that with there being only that small, minute little portion of a handful of miles that flows from Mitchell County towards the Showrock the watershed, if it was really something that we needed to put the time towards, I guess, was my thought.
What I asked him was, let's just say Mitchell County doesn't join. Does that mean that you won't do, projects in just that small area? And he said, no, it would be, still would be involved. But he said the problem would be if there was a supervisor who was on the board, he would probably go out and talk to some of the farmers and things like that in Mitchell County, where if there isn't a supervisor to go out and talk to people, well, probably nothing's going to happen in Mitchell County. And like you said, it's such a small area, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. It's just if one supervisor feels strongly that, oh yeah, I think we should be involved and I'd be willing to attend the meetings, then you probably want to join. If nobody feels strongly about, oh gosh, I want to go to those meetings, then you probably don't want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, and the other thing that I wanted to relate to on this, Mark, was the fact that currently that it wouldn't be an expense to the county, but as I'm finding out with the Wapsie Watershed that we are running into expense, and not that $300 is all that tough for us to pay, but at our last meeting we had the other day, which I will relate to, meetings attended, they kind of suggested that they'd much prefer $600 a year. And again, even with the Wapsie being much larger area for Mitchell County, we don't get any of the benefits of any of their programs and grants and water testing up here. It's all done down south. And truthfully, we are the beginning of that watershed, so we are part of the problem, but yet the millions of dollars that are spent on projects and wetlands and stuff are way south of us, where the Wapsie is as big as the Big Cedar up here, and the Wapsie is small enough that we can jump across it up here. So I guess that was my thinking. But anyways, thank you, Mark. And is there anything else you'd have for us on your general discussion?
Nothing today. I see there's a hand raised. I don't know.
Did Dave, did you have your hand up?
Yes. Are we involved with the Rock Creek watershed?
That's its own, yeah, that's, that's through the NRCS.
Well, somebody from USDA here is the chairman of that or something.
Yes.
And I don't know if they ask for any money from here or not, but,
We give them money, yes.
okay, you do, okay.
Yeah. That is then okay. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Thanks.
We'll move on to Sheriff's report for January.
Good morning, everyone. So that's January fees for you this morning that amount to $6,099.75. Again, that takes in everything from accident reports, service fees, weapons permits, fingerprints, all the things that the office does to generate that revenue. So we have 3 this morning. Ed, Floyd County inmate over the weekend that he's now off to prison, so we no longer are holding for Floyd County. A few weather-related incidents the last week, but nothing too serious. So we're in pretty good shape over there. Okay, if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer.
Jim, do you have a question for the sheriff? Not. Well, we need to approve the sheriff's report. Do we have any motions to that effect?
I'll make a motion to approve the sheriff's report.
January made a motion.
I'll second that.
Mark has seconded. Those in favor, stipify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. I think we had all ayes, so this was approved, Sheriff.
All right, thank
And
you.
it doesn't sound like there's any other questions for you, so thank you, sir.
Okay.
If you have any more phone calls for me, let me know.
I will.
County engineer report, and I don't see Rich.
Yeah, we're counting some of these in the jump on after you're done, so.
Okay.
you can check these in.
Okay, so we'll move down to number 6 for Tony. This is discuss of possible action to redirect economic development grant from commercial construction incentive to website redevelopment and marketing plans.
Okay. Thank you. The website redevelopment and marketing plan is the same plan that you guys saw at our joint meeting that y'all had with the Economic Development Board. And in reading the language of the bonds that came up to fund the construction incentive, it also states in there economic development grants as a possible use of those funds. And since what's left over after hopefully you approve the last construction incentive, which is your next agenda item after me, is that we have a amount of money left over that's not enough to fund the average one that we've had thus far. So we're asking for your approval to reallocate those awarded funds from the construction incentive to the website redevelopment and marketing plan. That way, it's something that we can spread out, the entire county can get some benefit from, and we can move ahead with the redevelopment of the website before next budget year. And we just thought that would be a good use of the excess funds that we've got left over that aren't enough to do another program. So our board was unanimous on approving that, and so we're asking if you would reallocate those leftover funds for that purpose.
And I think we did kind of chatter on this at another meeting, didn't we? I didn't hear anybody have any negative thoughts on it, so is there any other discussion?
Go ahead, Mike.
How much was left? It's around $20,000. I'm sorry, I should have that number right, but
Okay, I remember something like that.
it would be enough for a one-bedroom, but we haven't had very many of those, and not something that's high demand right now, so we thought, well, this would be a good use for those funds instead. So,
And what was the website gonna cost? So, was it more than that, or?
oh, well, no, it's about, the website was less than that, but with the marketing plan of paying for ads and those type of things for promotions, it comes to around that, so.
Okay.
Well, we would just structure the marketing plan to reflect the amount of money we have to spend.
Okay,
It wouldn't be anything extra.
so it would go to good use. It would go to some good use.
Right, yes. And we thought that would be a good use that the entire county can get some benefit of, because we'll be promoting all the community activities, all of the park structures around the county, any events, anything like of that nature. So it would be something that will be shared equitably around the county.
Any other comments?
Tony, I have a question, if you can hear me, can you hear me all right?
I can, yeah.
Your, originally, the EDC got $85,000 from Mitchell County as far as our contribution, and I saw a proposed budget from you that showed that you were gonna have an asking of $94,000 for us this year, so I'm just wondering, by us doing this now, is that gonna offset that $94,000 or bring it back down to $85,000?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good.
Any other comments? Todd, I think you were going to make a motion. Were you?
Oh, I was gonna ask the reminder, but I think it's like 19.7, 19.9, so
Something
you
like
said
that,
20,000, we're right there.
Yep.
And everything, I don't know if Walkie's still on, if it's all legal that we do that. I think we did talk about it, and I can't remember.
I think everything is kosher.
To move this money over,
It is
Tony,
kosher.
you're-
Because the language in there for the purpose of those bonds that were issued was for economic development grants and/or construction incentive money for that program.
okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, to me, there wasn't any question, that's clear. Because you can also use it to fund economic development payments that you guys make, the 85,000 can even come out of those TIP funds, so.
And I do, yeah, I'll make that motion, that we redirect the money from economic development to the marketing plan, website redevelopment marketing.
Todd has made his motion. Mark has made a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. I think we can go with regular, all those in favor, can't we, or should we do a roll call? All right, we'll do a roll call. Todd?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Aye. Small, aye, so it's unanimous, all in favor of that.
Steve, this is Mark. Just to let you know, it looks like Cody Smith has signed on now when you get to that watershed issue.
Okay, well, let's finish this construction incentive program application, and then it'll be his turn. How's that sound? So we'll move on, moving on to number 7. Tony, you have the floor again.
Okay, this construction incentive application will be the last one, and it is for 2 apartments in Riceville. I was personally really glad to see another application coming in from Riceville. They probably had, as far as the aggregate amount of benefit from this program, they've been the least, so this will be a nice little catch-up for them to have another program for rental properties in Riceville. So it'll be but this will be the last one, pending any programs that have been awarded already that may not get completed. Anything that comes from there, we will reallocate. But this is the last one of the funds that are available currently. So, and this one does meet all the criteria and has a unanimous approval from our board.
Okay, do we have any?
But how many
other
apartments?
2 apartments, 3 bedroom.
2 apartments, 3 bedrooms.
Any other discussion?
Looks like $60,000, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
Hearing none. Any more discussion? Do we have any motions to approve?
Can I ask one more question? Who's the builder?
Travis Sprung.
That was from.
I'll move to approve that application.
Jim has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Mark has seconded. Roll call. Todd.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Smollett. Aye. So your application has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, discuss and possible action on the Showrock River watershed. Cody, are you up there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
I'll let you have the floor.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the time today. I talked to Mark yesterday briefly, and he asked that I just maybe give an overview if you're interested. So I'll just kind of start with the basics, and if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. So my name is Cody Smith. I'm actually a policy associate at the Center for Rural Affairs, which is a nonprofit that helps build more vibrant rural communities. I'm actually based in Nevada. And one of the reasons we're involved in this is because watershed management authorities are a really great way for local officials to get involved in improving water quality, reducing flood risk, and also looking at other ways to leverage the river's resources for economic development. And when it comes to the Showrock River Watershed Management Coalition, this is a voluntary intergovernmental partnership between cities, counties, and soil and water conservation districts.
which are focused on those same three goals, on water quality, on flood mitigation, and leveraging the river's resources for economic development. So what you're considering today is whether or not Mitchell County would like to be a part of the board of that Watershed Management Coalition. So essentially, Mitchell County has about 5,000 acres in the Showrock River watershed, and by being on the board, we have, and again, this is completely voluntary, so you don't have to go in if you don't want to, but you would have a voice on that board and help steer those decision-making processes, whether it's a watershed plan that's being formulated, which again is another voluntary way of just looking at the issues within the watershed and what needs to be done to fix them. So that's sort of the overview of the purpose of the Showrock River watershed. As of now, we have at least 8 other jurisdictions, including 3 cities, and I think 4 other counties, and a couple of SWPDs as well. So if there's any other questions beyond those kind of basics, I'm happy to answer them.
Do you have any questions for Cody?
How often are your meetings? Or
So they'll be probably quarterly,
quarterly?
is what we'll need. And at that first meeting, you should have a draft of both the Chapter 28E agreement and bylaws. At that first board meeting, which I'm hoping will take place around March or April, will be where those bylaws are adopted, and then from there it'll be quarterly.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that we had 5,000 acres in Mitchell County.
I can say that too. I was looking on the maps last week and that map it doesn't look like it's that much, but
No.
I'm not questioning Cody, he would know.
Yeah, I'd say so. I guess I assumed we had maybe 300-400 acres according to the map.
The number that I see here on my list is 4,992 acres.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, well.
Where you meet at?
So for the time being, it'll probably be virtual, but in the future, that would be decided by the board, whether or not it wants to be a rotating location and hosted at different places. That's completely up to you all. I will not be a voting member like you will be.
Well, I guess being that it's got
If it's helpful, and I'm sorry to interrupt there, if it's helpful, I can tell you who's doing so far.
Sure.
yes, please.
Great. So we've got the city of North Springs, the city of Showrock, the city of Northwood, Bremer County Board of Supervisors, Butler County Board of Supervisors, Floyd County Board of Supervisors is considering theirs in the coming week. The Worth County Board of Supervisors is taking a vote today. And then we have the Bremer County Stormwater Conservation District, the Butler County Stormwater Conservation District, and then we have interest expressed from both Cerro Gordo County and Worth County Stormwater Conservation District. So that's where we're at now.
Okay. Well, Cody, thank you for your information. It's kind of changed my attitude a little bit on this because I was under the understanding we didn't have, according to your map here, the picture doesn't really show 5,000 acres of ground that drains into the Showrock from Mitchell County. So I think we'll be able to make a decision on this here this morning. Do we have any discussion as to pros and cons to this?
I think nobody else wants it,
I think it's probably a good thing,
Yeah,
get
again,
involved.
looking at the map, I was expecting it to be a couple of sections at the most.
I thought 1,000 acres. It runs a lot. north and south more than it does anything, but I didn't think it looked like it. Good Lord, that's quite a chunk of ground, 5,000 acres.
Yes, the
And we
map
actually
doesn't
don't hit
give
the
it
water.
justice.
Mitchell County, I don't think hits the Showrock.
No.
It's
No.
just the land.
It's just the
Land
shape,
drain.
the land drains towards the watershed.
Doesn't it dump into the Cedar at Charles City?
Showrock?
Yeah.
It's further down.
You saw it.
I believe those to the south of Showrock City.
But eventually goes into the Cedar, is that correct?
Yep.
Well,
I'll do it.
You wanna try it for
Sure.
a year?
we probably have to make this as
Bring
a
my alternate, aren't you?
resolution or make that motion.
Yeah.
Did we do it?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I get sick with that.
Okay,
Yep.
Mike has made a motion to approve Mitchell County as becoming part of the Shellrock watershed. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Todd has seconded. Any further discussion? Jim, you've been quiet on this.
Nope, sounds good.
All right, we will have a roll call vote on this. Todd?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Smolik, aye. So I guess we have approved becoming part of the Shellrock River watershed. Did you get that, Cody?
I got it, and once you all kind of figure out who you'd like to represent on the board, have Mark send it my way, and I'll get it written down, so you're on the list for notification about the first meeting.
Okay, we have a decision already made. Mark Hendrickson has accepted the responsibility of being our person from Mitchell County. He is a Mitchell County supervisor. So we will have Mark give you that information and Mark's email in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, home health update. Jessa or Laura, who wants to be the,
We are both going to talk today. Can you come on? We just wanted to give you guys a little home health, public health update. I think it's good. I know Mike brings back stuff from our board of health meeting, but it's good that things change so fast. As far as the home health, we're sitting at about 85 census. I'd like to see that higher, but our staff is definitely busy enough with the pandemic going on. We have about 5 full-time nurses, 2 PRN, 3 office staff, and then 7 aides total, home health care aides total. I just hired 2 new PRN aide staff to kind of help out as our census goes up and down, and to help with the COVID vaccine clinic. Jessica's going to give you some stats on our COVID numbers.
So currently right now, as of this morning, we have a total of 1,185 cases in Mitchell County since our first case. Recovered is 1,134 with 40 deaths, and our positivity rate as of this morning was 1.1%. We are the lowest in the state of Iowa, which is huge. So
That's something Mitchell County should definitely be proud of.
yes.
Because the highest is 24%, and we're 1.1. I mean, that is outstanding.
It is, yeah. So in the last week, I've had just 3 positive cases, but it's very low compared to what we have been experiencing. So kudos to Mitchell County. So we have started the vaccine process. To date, us as public health have given a total of 1,128 vaccines. 791 have received their first dose. 337 have completed the series of the 2. A total throughout Mitchell County is 1,358. Where that number is different is there's 230 individuals throughout the nursing homes who got vaccinated by Walgreens or CVS, so that's not what we have given. We are running our mass vaccination clinics over at 319 Pine Street. We had a couple of trial runs, which went excellent. This Wednesday we are vaccinating 400 people there. So we're finishing our tier 1, which will be the remainder of the firefighters I have some teachers trickling in, and then otherwise about 350, 65 and plus. So we'll continue to do that. We are only receiving about 200 doses a week, so we're not getting a lot from the state. I had a meeting with Kelly Garcia, the head of the state, and she said that's what we will be receiving the rest of February, is just 200 a week. So I have split those up, 100 or 50% goes to essential, 50% goes to 65 and plus. So we do have a waiting list. Last week we had over 1,000 individuals on that waiting list. With us getting the 400 vaccines this week, we are down to about 850 on there. So it's going actually pretty good. So we are going to be starting tier 2 here. We'll probably put a notice out next week just because we'll be done with firefighters. Tier 2, what that looks like is individuals with disabilities living in home settings and their care providers. Also food agricultural distribution workers who work or live in a congregate setting that do not allow social distancing. So, as you guys are aware too, we have stopped the Test Iowa. We were getting about maybe 10 people a day, if that, to come through. We were seeing maybe 2 people from Mitchell County. We needed to change our focus more on the vaccine instead of having our workers, worry about Test Iowa and then also giving the vaccine. There's multiple areas or places in the area. Osage has one. Mason City has a couple places where you can get tested at. People are looking for those rapid results. Test Iowa is not rapid results either. So we decided to put that aside and focus more on the vaccine now. So we were done as of the 8th was our last day. Do you guys have any questions or concerns for us?
I guess I had someone that works inside the building here was questioning when maybe they would be able to start their shots. Is there a maybe possible month or so away yet?
Yeah, they probably will not be eligible until tier 1C. Right now we're in, or phase 1C. Right now we're in phase 1B, tier 1. Moving to tier 2 this week. There's 5 tiers in that phase 1B. So,
okay.
And we have to wait for the whole state to move to that tier 1C. We can't just move to it on our own.
It was brought up, they were wondering, and they asked the question, and now I'd be able to answer.
Yeah, and Rachel did give me a list of individuals that are interested here in the courthouse. And so I do have that list, even, for potential of if we have doses left over. Give them a call, hey, can you come down here and get vaccinated? So I do have that list with numbers that I can call if needed.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Does the hospital here do vaccinations too?
No. Eventually, I'm hoping once we get thousands of vaccines, we have plans to partner with them. So they'll have vaccines along with pharmacies. Smart Pharmacies also said they'll help us out. But right now we're getting so little, we don't need the vaccine in several different areas. So right now we are just doing it public health, and we'll see where it goes down the road.
I know they did their employees, did they do it through you guys then?
Yes, yep, we allocate the doses for them. Yep.
Is there a possibility in the expansion of the amount of doses you get in the future?
We're hoping. I had a good call with Liz Matney from the state yesterday, and she's really impressed with how we're getting the vaccines out. It's a small area and how we're doing it. I showed her the pictures of what we have going on down there. Very impressed with that. So I'm hoping that they will start allocating us more because they see that we are giving them and we're not hanging on to them. So.
Okay.
If you guys would like to go look at our vaccination clinic, I'm more than willing to take you guys down there to look at it.
I'll be there 9:20 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a really great setup, and we've gotten a lot of good compliments on how smoothly it runs.
And we will be there all day tomorrow if you guys want to hop in. You guys are it's going to be a full operation. So we have every 5 minutes, we have 4 individuals coming every 5 minutes from 8:20 until 4:30. So
yeah, tomorrow's will be our biggest clinic that we've done, so it'll be a full day. So it's good to get all those out there. We have had so much support. We've had about, I think, 55 volunteers on our list that have signed up to help. So, and tomorrow we'll use about 20 to 25 people between staff and volunteers to run it down there. So it needs a lot of people for 400 to come through.
Yeah.
How about, I know our cases are down, which is awesome. I'm just speaking on what happened with my family, but how about the bed situation if we do get a case? Are they still, is it still tough to get them housed to different hospitals?
No, so hospitalization rate is really low right now. At that time, obviously, that was our peak for everyone, unfortunately. So there's availability in the Mason City Hospital if needed.
Okay, good.
So yeah, we're not seeing it at peak.
I'm not for sure, but I think the other day on TV, there wasn't anybody in that.
I think it did, yeah, I saw that, but there was nobody in ICU.
Yeah, in that area that's for COVID.
Okay.
Good.
The needle's gotta be that long?
It is.
It's a short needle, but it's got a heck of a sting.
We have done both schools, so they both received their first dose. Osage on Friday, last Friday, St. Ansgar the 5th, so 2 Fridays ago, so we'll get them their second vaccine. Very appreciative of that too, so, yeah. I'm good with keeping everyone safe too.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And feel free to give us a
Good
call
luck.
if you guys have any questions.
Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Moving on, items of note, meetings attended. Mike, would you like to start? You had any?
Yeah, I had a couple. I had a conservation board meeting February 9th. They talked about the seasonal camping spots in Stacyville. 5 spots are taken. But they drew numbers for the spots, and they want to have 5 more permanent spots, or for the season spots, I guess. They plan on opening May 1st, weather permitting. And they briefly discussed about, so they have an idea of doing a pet cemetery. I don't know if they're really interested in that, but didn't know if that'd be a moneymaker or what. And then they talked about the county farm out there where the building is, possibly doing wetland. They're going to be looking at converting it into a wetland where the county home was. And they talked about opening hunting for Pioneer Park and the Brum Edition, which is across from the park. Stacyville to the south side of the road there. That woods, I forget, it's 15 acres or whatever it is. So after the camping season, they're going to open the Brum Edition and Pioneer Park to open hunting.
Yep.
So people go through there anyway, I guess, so they're going to open it so it's legal. And they talked briefly about their 5-year plan that they have for county conservation. Having a meeting on that Sunday, February 21st at 1 p.m. on conservation. And I don't know, I think it's open to the public for their 5-year plan. So, and then the next regular meeting is March 9th. So that's that meeting. And then I had an orientation meeting with Erin Markham from the state of Iowa for public health. So she's a consultant for our area. She's a person to go to in the event of a public emergency, like tornado, etc. You know, because she's in charge of our district, which she covers multiple counties. And she went over how the public health meetings are run, which basically they're run like this meeting, you know, and like the Roberts rules. And the public health functions are prepare and respond to recover from public health emergencies and prevent epidemics and the spread of diseases, kind of like public health is doing now, you know, and to help prevent injuries and promote healthy behaviors. So there's 6 regions in Iowa, and she is Region 2, which she takes care of. And she comes to the public health meeting like once a year, I guess, to keep everybody in the loop. But, so that's my 2 meetings.
Okay. Do you have any meetings?
Yeah, I had a fair board meeting. Things are looking pretty good, but they're very busy right now. They got a carnival hired. It'll be a new one. It sounds like they got a lot of rides coming. So they have multiple suggestions for the kids' days and different stuff that from previous times that might change. They're looking for new leadership. I'm not asking, they'll take care of it, but the gal that was doing it resigned, and it's quite a bit of work. They've got the okay, they got the grandstands full each night. They're in the process of hiring a band. And then they're working on Mostex, the fireworks. They've got approval, the land's not quite approved yet where he wants to shoot them off, but he's willing to really work with them on displays because of the 150th. So he'd like to, between his name there, the fireworks, and for the 150th. I guess they were getting some, I remember we didn't have a fair last year, but they're getting a lot of feedback that from people like to go down and just sit and watch people, you know, and stuff, that there isn't enough areas to sit down, benches and stuff, and so they're looking into benches, and then they're also looking into and I can tell you they're probably gonna go with the one site from Northwood that have their steel, and then they've got like a rubber coating over them. They're quite heavy and they're very nice. And they're thinking that maybe if there's people that are going to get it out there, maybe if you wanted to volunteer to say donated by Hendrickson's Farms or something, you know what I mean? Just so you might see some of that coming down the road here, but they're pretty excited. They got a volunteer band, I believe it is for Friday night, and they're local, so they're pretty excited. They're really putting a lot of work into the 150th. They got quite a project, and they're getting prices on adding a building down there so they can get more wash stations and stuff for the animals when they're participating and stuff. That's about it, I guess. That's the only one I have.
Okay.
I did not have one.
Jim, did you have any meetings?
No, I did not have anything.
Okay, and I am up. I had a meeting of the Floyd Mitchell Chickasaw landfill. It was February 9th. Approved the agenda, approved the minutes, approved the bills. We had a citizens forum. Alan Powell got up and discussed about the unit-based pricing, the standard that was voted on or approved back in 1996-97. That they were not going by that amendment, and that was all he had to bring up. We had discussion and decision regarding the tire charge change. We had a discussion, reviewed and discussion regarding the UBP resolution, and that is unit-based pricing. And it's the responsibility of the cities or municipalities to police and to make sure that the residents follow the guidelines of the 95-gallon tote per week maximum of unit-based pricing. The landfill has no responsibility to police this, and it was also brought up that the county dump site would also be part of this and would need an ordinance also, but I don't think we do. because we're no different than a contractor. We buy our bin, people come in and fill it. So I'm gonna fight that one all the way. I think that the idea of our recycling center out there is to keep tires and junk from ending up in the ditch, or worse yet, ending up in a gully or a ravine that leads into a creek nearby. So I think we are exempt from what they're trying to push here. Moving on. Discussion and decision on policy for haulers regarding their box positions when leaving the dump site. They dump their load, they leave their box up, and they come down the roadway up to the scale with their box up. Well, all that crap ends up on them. And they're complaining about flat tires. Some other haulers are complaining about flat tires. When you go out there and look at that UTV out there, the first time I see their little UTV out there, it's like 20 nails per tire. Nails sticking out. Yeah, I don't know how they keep the tires up. Anyways, we have a decision on that, a policy. They will be fined if they leave their box up. Discussion in regards to tipping fees. We need to raise our tipping fee. The tipping fee is price per ton that's dropped in the law. Equipment costs into the future, they're going up. Leachate expense is going up. We've had months where we were shipping leachate at over $10,000 a month. And if we have a wet year, it'll be a lot worse. So we need to raise our tipping fee to realize monies for these future expenses. And they also discussed about making a 5-year plan. We had a director's report. There was nothing for old business, and then the meeting was adjourned. I had an Upper Watershed Watershed meeting. It wasn't too long. This was February 11th, 2021. They had a project coordinator update. They had the project implemented in the Upper Watershed. Several bid packets have been awarded for the construction season of 2021, and there was 3 additional bid packets that were being scheduled for this spring. Water sampling results was discussed, and they talked about the reasons for higher phosphorus and E. coli bacterial levels, while the nitrate levels were lower. And then moving on, the future of the Upper Wapsie WMA project coordinators, and that's what we had the meeting on, and we voted for $300 for them. That's when I found out that some areas were given 5,000, cities, others were given nothing. Anyways, I did tell them that we took the scenario 1 where we were doing $300 a year. Other entities went with number 2, and others didn't even commit. So we left it at that, but they're still working on, they're going to send letters out to there's areas that didn't offer nothing or even have a representative there. So it isn't like it's a hot topic for some counties. They discussed the Buchanan and Bremer County conservation planning. And at the end of the meeting, there was public comment. And there was no other updates, so that meeting is over. Moving on, manure management plan updates. Rachel.
There was just one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Street in Riceville.
Say it is.
That's all that I have.
Okay, we're at public comments. What's that?
Don't forget about Rich. See if he's on the board.
And I'm here if you guys wanna.
I forgot about Rich Brum. Yes, Richard, are you there?
I'm here, can you hear me?
Yes, have you got anything for us?
A few brief things. One thing, we were contacted by Fox Auction Company about thinking, they do a lot of auctioning stuff, and he kind of cold called me here a week or two ago, and we have some things we might want to consider auctioning off. I don't know if we have the time for you guys to commit or make a decision on it, but we do have boxes of old parts from our old Ford dump trucks and stuff that are, in new shape that we could probably send to an auction site. I know we have an old Oshkosh plow truck that we really like. It's a sentimental thing, but in a Ford dump truck that we have, we could probably maybe try to auction those off. It sounds to me that this next auction, if we can get those people the information next week sometime on what we have, we can still fit stuff in the auction. I guess it's up to you guys whether we want to get rid of the equipment or not. We can always wait until the next auction, but we've got some stuff that's kind of in pallets right now that we can probably get rid of that we won't use. But I don't know if you guys have any feelings either way on auctioning some stuff off. We have used Purple Wave in the past, but I guess Fox Auction Company is more local. I don't know if we'll get better pricing or not, but like I said, it did sound like a couple of counties are taking some dump trucks to the auction, so we could maybe gain some value if we had a couple ourselves, but nothing we have to rush on. Just kind of thought maybe I'd get an idea from you guys whether you want to do it this way or maybe hold off until the next auction.
Well, what's the thoughts?
Well, some other counties are bringing dump trucks, you get more people looking at them, I know that.
Right, and I don't know, he was supposed to get me some of his information for his auction site. I thought maybe he did some stuff online too. I'm not familiar with how he operates so much, but we can always wait for the next auction too. I'm sure that there'll be more counties doing some stuff too. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that we do it, we could, and then we have till next week if we wanted to. I guess that the text I got from somebody that contacted Frank was that if we want to get stuff by him the week of the 22nd, we'll give them time to get pictures and put online for their auction in March as well. So
We just as well resolve this right now.
When's the last time you used that Oshkosh?
well, it was a long time ago. Jim, I think, was the last one to run it there in the big snowstorm. I don't remember when was that, Jim?
I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, but I don't even remember for sure.
I know we had that terrible snow. It's a nice piece of equipment. It doesn't get used much. Jim probably knows more about it than I do, just being he's the one that usually drove it. But
Yeah, if it's just gonna sit there, there's really no need to be holding on to it. There was a time I thought some of that equipment could be used for kind of rough service, use in the summer as far as hauling riprap, that type of thing, but, I mean, if it's, stuff's just gonna sit there.
yeah, we've got trucks now that we can haul that stuff with as we bring new equipment in. I think it's probably just gonna sit longer. It's a nice heavy duty truck, but it's just probably lost its time, I guess. We have an old Ford dump truck and it's probably wearing itself out too. We've got enough equipment to help those two pieces sitting around, so.
Agreed.
Conservation doesn't need some of those parts?
I
I
believe,
don't know, we could check them before we actually sell it. I don't know what all the parts are. Mark, you might even know more about that than
They
the one,
got-
but,
They took one of the old Fords, didn't they?
yeah, they did buy one of the old ones. I don't know what parts we have to fit for that.
I know they are looking for a dump truck too, that was,
I think they are trying to get rid of it too.
I think they wanted a different dump truck than conservation,
I think they are thinking about a different truck.
yeah.
They bought our Ford just as, quick. They were in dire straits needing something.
Does
I don't know
Fox,
how much they use your dump trucks.
does Fox auction have live auction, or is it all online?
That, I was supposed to get information emailed to me, and I never got the information. My guess is it's live auction, but I'm not positive.
Where do they have that at then?
I don't know if it's live online, or, I honestly don't know.
It's actually south of Nyack,
Yes.
you'll,
South of Nyack.
cross 18, and then it's a mile or mile and a half south there, you can see it.
Okay.
You
I
can see
didn't know where.
Nyack driveway.
Okay.
Well, I think the consensus of the board up here, Rich, is that you do what you think you need to do.
Okay, all right. I mean, we always have avenues of getting rid of equipment, but, you know, if we miss out this time, there's always another auction, so it's not like we're need
Well,
to really get rid of stuff. But
That's true,
it's
but
just something that, an opportunity came up and we can think about doing it, so.
if you have a time, and this is a time, I think you've gotten the go-ahead to do it.
Okay, I'll talk with our guys and get things moving then. Two other things, we were approached by the DOT here, they're gonna be paving shoulders on Highway 9 from Almas and Worth County to Glass Avenue in Mitchell County. And they want to know if we want to, like we've done in the past, pave our gravel intersections as part of their project. They're using highway safety improvement funds, which is really, I don't understand the corridor that they're paving shoulders, but there's a rhyme and a reason to what they're doing there. But because there's an asphalt contractor already on site, because they're doing theirs, they wanted to know if we wanted to do our intersections on the gravel roads. We've been trying to do more of them in the past on all our projects, and the reason we've been doing them is because it keeps our motor graders off main highways when they're doing maintenance work. And so we thought about, we estimate how many approaches we have. We have about 8 gravel approaches on that stretch of road, give or take, depending on how we share Virginia. And then estimating about $5,000 per intersection, we're looking at about $40,000 to pave those intersections. Keep in mind that the gravel intersections usually get the most abuse of turning traffic and heavy loads that, they're usually the most beat up part of the road. Just kind of want to get some guidance if you guys want to think we should spend the money on it or not. I don't think it's a bad idea, but
You have the money, I think you should do it.
I just talked to Worth County, and I think we're going to do it over here. I think it's probably, just on a safety standpoint, I think it's a good idea.
Did they say why they were stopping at Glass? I mean, why not?
No, I don't understand why it's between Almas and Glass. I don't know if the shoulders are narrower in that corridor or what the situation is, but it's a goofy project limit that I think anyway, but I don't know. I can't explain what they're doing.
Any comments? What do you think?
How many feet back do they go into the intersection?
They go back about to the right of way line, usually 50 feet or to the right.
Okay.
Well, I think you should probably do it, Rich.
Pardon me?
I think you should probably do it.
I think we're gonna head that way and do that. We've done it in the past. Seems like a really good opportunity if there's a contract already available to get those intersections done. So, like I said, we've been doing this on all of our other projects. We might as well continue the process, keep everything safe.
Yeah.
For our operators. One other thing then, we've been hearing about this coronavirus response and response relief supplemental appropriations act, the $121.9 million coming from the Federal Highway Commission. We got a memo on how they want to distribute those funds, or how they're proposing to distribute the funds. And it sounds like they want to distribute the funds much like they do the road use tax formulas, where because it's federal money, the DOT is proposing that they swap the federal funds with the county with state funds to get us our money quicker, which I think is a really good idea. They'll directly deposit the funding to the secondary road fund and the farm to market fund with no required funds. So what it would amount to, if the commission approves it, the funding that Mitchell County receives, depending on the actual dollar amount, $1,000 to our farm market account. Not a lot of money out of a $121 million fund, but it's, anything helps, I guess. Rich, did you say 76,000 to that, then? About 76,410, but, okay. Small amount, really. I mean, it's a great gesture, I mean, but I guess that's how our formulas work, so. Just kind of give an update on that. With that full funding, the breakdown is the DOT would get 47.5% of the 121 million. The counties would get 32.5, and the cities get about 20%. So, and then they break those percentages in the farm market and secondary road fund. We're at 24.5% of the county, 32.5% goes to the secondary road fund, and another 8% goes to the market.
Okay.
No great windfall of funds, but, everything else.
Yeah. Well, does anybody have any other comments, questions for Rich?
Like that $40,000 for the number 9 approaches, would that come out of one of these two funds then, is that?
Well, it'll be local money, yeah. Local money. Yeah. And we don't know when they're gonna approve that.
Okay.
They're gonna present this to the commission, I think it's like in March, at their March 9th meeting, they're gonna present their commission. I don't know how fast the funds will come out, how they'll distribute it. No, the secondary, we'll get the funds in our secondary road fund, much like we get our road use tax fund. It'll just kind of be mixed in with our quarterly payments or a month payment, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? David?
I have a question for Rich.
David has a question for you, Rich.
Approaches?
Yeah, Rich, where are you today, at Northwood?
Pardon me?
What office are you in? Are you at Northwood today?
I'm in Northwood just because I wanted to make these 2 meetings and then I head over to Mitchell County. I got some meetings this afternoon.
Okay. I've got some information here on the Macadam base, and I wanted to give it to you, but I could show it to the supervisors here, want them to take a look at it. And,
you and I talked about here
last
Friday.
Talked about last Friday, yeah. And I have some other ideas on how that Kirkwood could be, improved for a lot less money and still gets the width that we need, so.
Yeah, just for your information, Dave and I had a conversation on Thursday about these projects as well, and we were talking about some things that, options and alternatives.
Okay.
Well, I'll show it to the board then, and, Jim, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Do you remember how deep that macadam was on Kirkwood when we did that?
No, I do not remember, sorry.
Wasn't it 6 inches?
I think it was 5 or 6 inches.
It was 6 inches.
That would
But
probably
the
be,
macadam was?
I'm sure that's what Hyde would have shot for.
Okay, and then 3 or 4 inch roadstone on top to choke course, they call it.
Yep.
I think that was 3 or 4, okay. So I've got some information here from different jobs that have been done, and they've got some brochures from the Limestone Association. I'll show them to them, and then sometime I can get together with you and show them to you, or talk about it whenever it works for you. Give me a call.
Thursday when you can visit it, but,
She said 2
Dave,
weeks.
the stuff that you have, is it something that would be easy for Rachel to scan and that she could email it to me as an attachment?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can.
There. Just kind of brochure. And then the other one is. This one that was done earlier.
Where is Jim today?
3 inches of macadam and 3 inches of chokestone, but the other one I think is 6 or so. Okay. So when.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you get a chance, Rich, just give me a call and I can bring this information down and we can discuss it.
Yeah, I'll try to be there before June. I think when I get done here, I might just head back over that way now anyway.
So you want me to come down and come over and see you today?
If you want, I don't care when you come, I guess.
Well, that's one of the.
I got meetings this afternoon, one with conservation on their Otrano Dam thing.
Why don't you just call me when you want want me to come down sometime.
All right.
As long as you're busy this afternoon. Okay. Thank you.
Keith, did you have a comment or anything?
Yeah, I just had a question. Pretty much have closed up incentive funds that you had for construction. That's pretty well closed up now. Do you have any thoughts going forward on whether the county is going to offer any incentives for building of homes and commercial? Haven't thought about it, or?
I just want to make sure I heard the question. Was the question, are we going to offer any more incentives? Are we going to contribute to that plan? Is that what the question was kind of was?
Well, it sounds like you were maybe working on a new plan or something. In the near future, do you plan on funding something? Are you going to put it in the budget? Is it tabled for a
The way I
while?
understood it, we were waiting for the EDC to kind of come up with some thoughts that we had that we thought would improve the program, and we wanted to see what they had to offer. And we all had our own thoughts, and so right now it was kind of in the developmental stage. So I don't think anything has been established, but I also don't think that we've axed the program either. That's my thoughts. I want other input from other people too.
No, I've been with the EDC and, yeah, as far as the program is not axed. We just, I think they understand that we want to make some changes, and so we need to get together. They are together right now, trying to put some things together, and then once we get something, we get together, then I will take it to them, and then we'll coordinate and see where we want to go.
So the answer is yes, you're planning to come up with some kind of program to stimulate housing growth in Mitchell County.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the rest of the state thinks it's pretty important. I think it's pretty important that we stay in it as well, whatever program you come up with.
Well, and we all have to remember the housing, and we got to take care of Mitchell County. Riceville, Statesville, Osage, St. Ansgar, we all need houses.
Yes, you do.
So, we definitely need to move forward on it, but we just need to revamp some things. And we just need to get together and see how everybody feels. Jim's got a nice one that I've got that he put together, and I think, what do you think, Jim? We should just all five get together and take a look at that?
Yeah, and I know when we had that EDC meeting, we kind of had to stop it, but the thought was, we were going around the table and everybody had 5 ideas that they thought were pertinent and the priority for each of us as a group, as a board. And we didn't get all around the table with that, but I think that's kind of an important thing where the board comes up with 3 to 5 priorities that they think the program should be, have some amendments to, and then we can at least have a starting list that we can share. And nobody's going to have exactly the same thing other people want, but that's the idea of a discussion where you kind of meet in the middle and you come up with the best plan of what the group thinks.
Well, that's all we can ask for, that you come up with the best plan that works for the county. I just was wondering if you were planning to fund it. So it sounds as though you are. Good luck on your fact finding.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have something backing up to the county engineer. I don't, do we need to make a motion and approve those 8 approaches, or is it,
I don't think we need to make a motion to approve them. Rich has that ability to do that without our.
Okay, I didn't know. I was make sure we do it.
I think he has that ability to do that.
Okay, just want to make sure we're doing it.
So, with nothing else, let's call the meeting over. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to look at these